Your horse won't look you in the eyes. You've noticed it. You've probably wondered about it more than once. Maybe you assumed he was distracted or uninterested or simply not paying attention to you. Maybe you assumed it meant nothing at all. You were wrong. The way a horse uses eye contact is one of the most precise communication systems in the animal world. Every glance, every avoidance, every moment a horse chooses to hold your gaze or turn away from it. All of it carries specific meaning. And when a horse avoids direct eye contact with you, he is not being indifferent. He is sending you a message that most people spend years around horses without ever learning to read. Welcome back to Horse Mind. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe, because what you're about to learn will completely change the way you interpret your horse's body language. Today, we're going into what eye contact really means in the horse world, and why the way your horse looks at you, or doesn't, tells you exactly where you stand. First, you need to understand something fundamental about how horses see the world, because it's completely different from how you do. A horse's eyes are positioned on the sides of its head, not the front. This gives horses a visual field of nearly 350 degrees. They can see almost everything around them simultaneously. A horse can watch something happening behind him on his left while looking at something in front of him on his right, without moving his head at all. This means that direct forward gaze, the kind humans use constantly and automatically in social interaction, requires a horse to do something deliberate. It requires the horse to turn its head, to reorient its entire visual system toward you, to temporarily reduce its wide-angle environmental surveillance. That is not something a horse does by accident. It is a choice. This is not intuition. This is not wishful thinking. This is one of the most consistent findings in equine visual cognition research. In a study conducted at the University of Guelph, researchers mapped the gaze behavior of horses during social interactions with humans and found that lateral eye gaze, looking at a person with one eye, head slightly turned away, functions as the primary mode of focused attention in horses. A horse offering you lateral gaze is not distracted. A horse offering you lateral gaze is watching you with full, deliberate concentration. Direct frontal eye contact is something else entirely, and understanding the difference changes everything. When your horse turns slightly to the side and studies you with one eye, what you are seeing is not avoidance. That is complete, focused attention. Lateral gaze is how horses look at the things that matter to them. The positioning gives them optimal visual clarity with their dominant eye, while maintaining peripheral awareness of the environment. They are not turning away from you. They are orienting toward you in the way that their visual system makes most efficient. If you have ever approached a horse and felt like he wasn't paying attention to you, but his ear was tracking your every movement, that was your horse watching you precisely. In the way horses watch things they find important. He simply wasn't signaling his attention in the way you expected. But direct eye contact, both eyes forward, full frontal, is something different, and it carries two completely opposite meanings depending on the relationship between you. When a horse who trusts you deeply meets your gaze directly, that is intimacy. That is the horse saying something specific. I am comfortable enough with you to be this exposed, because full frontal gaze, in the neurology of a prey animal, is a moment of genuine vulnerability. The horse is briefly narrowing its wide field vision to focus on you. It is placing a level of trust in you that you are worth that concentrated attention and that you will not take advantage of the vulnerability. A horse that looks at you that way has made a decision about you. Not every horse makes that decision about every person. But here's where it gets even more incredible. When a horse who does not trust you meets your gaze directly, head up, body tense, both eyes fixed, that is not connection. That is threat assessment. In prey animal behavior, sustained frontal staring from an unfamiliar or distrusted individual is the precursor to either confrontation or flight. Your horse is not bonding with you. He is deciding whether you are dangerous. Most people never learn to tell the difference between these two uses of direct eye contact, and it costs them because they misread what their horse is telling them in exactly the moments that matter most. The reverse, active avoidance of your gaze, also carries specific information. When a horse consistently looks away from you, not with the focused lateral attention I described, but with a genuine turning of the head, a breaking of any eye contact before it can be established, there are three possible messages. The first is stress. A horse that has had negative experiences associated with direct human attention will learn over time to break eye contact early. Looking away became a protective behavior. If I do not look at this person, the unpleasant thing is less likely to happen. This is a learned avoidance, and it tells you something important about what this horse has experienced. The second is submission. In herd dynamics, subordinate horses look away from dominant individuals as a social appeasement signal. If your horse looks away when you approach, he may be telling you not that he is indifferent, but that he has placed you above himself in his social hierarchy. He is deferring to you. That is a form of relationship, not the absence of one. And there is a third possibility, rarer but real. Horses that have experienced prolonged stress or significant loss sometimes show a reduction in social gaze engagement across all relationships. The looking away becomes habitual and generalized. It is not about you specifically. It is about a horse that has stopped engaging with its social environment in the way it once did. If you have ever looked at a horse and felt, somehow, that no one was fully present, you were reading something real. This leads us to the most important part of today's video: how to build the kind of relationship where your horse chooses to look at you. Genuinely, voluntarily. If you want a horse to offer you direct eye contact, the intimate kind, not the threat assessment kind, you cannot force it or rush it. You have to earn the specific vulnerability that eye contact represents for a prey animal. Start by removing sustained direct eye contact from your early interactions with any horse. When you approach, look slightly down and to the side. This is not weakness. This is fluency. You are speaking the language that tells a horse you are not a threat. You are reducing the social pressure that makes a horse feel the need to monitor you defensively. But here is the key that most people get exactly backwards. The instinct when a horse seems inattentive is to do more, to move closer, to make noise, to demand his attention. Horses read that as pressure, and horses move away from pressure, not toward it. The horse that ignores the persistent visitor will walk across the field on its own, to stand near the person who arrived quietly and has been doing nothing in the corner for 10 minutes. Be that person. Be the one who arrives without urgency and does nothing in particular. Over weeks of consistent low-pressure contact, you will notice a shift. The lateral gaze will come first. That single-eye, deliberate attention. Then longer. Then something else entirely. The moment your horse turns to face you fully, holds your gaze for several seconds, and doesn't look away. That is not a random occurrence. That is a decision. He has decided you are worth the vulnerability, and once a horse makes that decision, it stays. If you found this fascinating, please give this video a like and share it with anyone who spends time around horses. Don't forget to subscribe to Horse Mind. Let me know in the comments. Has your horse ever held your gaze in a way that surprised you, like he was really seeing you? I read every single one. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video where we'll look at what happens inside your horse the moment he decides your stable is home, and why most people miss the exact moment it occurs. Until then, keep your eyes on your horse. He's already watching you.